Brothers and sisters, in Jesus Christ, this is an incredibly powerful day, and it's hard to imagine why it's called good. The worst thing happened at the worst time for Jesus. There's nothing that could have been worse. If we think of the words he said from the cross, "I thirst," and we think back to the woman at the well, and he asked her for a drink because he was thirsty. He wasn't thirsting for sour wine. This entire Lent, Christ is thirsting for us to return to him. If we think of our lives, when I was born, I became a son and a brother, and then I became a student, and then I became a worker, then I became a husband and a father, and then a business owner, and all of these things stack onto who I am. We get trapped in these definitions. We get trapped in how we describe ourselves. And what the reality is, when we die, these things that define us die. Our affiliations, our sports teams, our race, our sexual orientation, whether we drive a Ford truck or a GMC, all of these things that we use to define who we are die. This is our small self. Who were we before we were born? Jeremiah tells us that God knows us before we were formed in the womb. We're beloved children of God, all of us, regardless of where we are, where we're from, what we do, how much money we earn. And as we mature, we understand that this is given to us freely, and there's nothing we can do to earn it. We definitely don't deserve it. So then all of a sudden, we can see each other as equals, as brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. We're hidden with Christ in God from before we were born. What Jesus is thirsting for is this acknowledgement that we're his brothers and sisters, but also that we unite ourselves to his cross. I want to invite you to look at the Paschal mystery as little days in our lives. Imagine having a party that they're talking about 2,000 years from now, like the Last Supper. Think of my children being born, my wedding day, graduating from high school and university. All these grace-filled moments when my father told me that he loved me. These moments that fill you with this love, this just abundance of good things that are happening in this moment in time in your life. And I want to think about the Good Friday moments in our lives. Loss of loved ones, best friends, spouses, relationships failing, marriages failing, friendships failing, health failing, loss of jobs, loss of health in car accidents, all of these tragedies that happen in a moment that tear down who we think that we are. This is what Christ thirsts for. He wants us to lay these burdens and attach them to the cross. He wants us to unite this suffering that's entered into the world to his cross. His death on the cross was the greatest act of charity and the greatest gift that he's given us in his human life. Greater than all the teachings, greater than everything he said, greater than all the healings, all the miracles. This gift, this surrender, this sacrifice that he made so he could redeem us. He's asking us to cast these things that we believe who we are at the foot of the cross. so that we can embrace our brother and sistership with Christ. We can see beyond these little things in our life that are kind of blocking the view of our relationship with him. As we get older, we start to recognize these things are less and less important for our salvation. We become more forgiving for each other. We become more compassionate. We journey with people who have made the same sins we have because we've made it through, and we can lead them through it with our compassion. This gift that Jesus gave us is to transform these things so that we can act as his brothers and sisters in the world around us. This idea of charity is this virtue that is beyond intelligence. We're going to act for the good of others because God loves us. And we see and recognize the face of Christ in the people we serve. As we journey through life, we start to migrate towards and understand this love that Christ had for us. What I want to invite you to do for the rest of the day is think of one thing that you can't live without in your life, and recognize that we can lay it down and it's not going to change how much Christ loves you. Just sit with that and think about the impact that has on Christ's love for you, or no impact. This grace that Christ pours out into our lives is indescribable. This understanding that we are loved, we only have a shadow of. We have the merest glimpse of forgiveness and love when we will come to fully know him on the last day. As we sit with the difficult things in our life, we enter into Holy Saturday and the time where we wait for the risen Christ. Do you believe that he will rise? Let's sit with Peter, betrayed him 3 times, and then he's dead. And he has to sit with this for days. We get to choose. Our Holy Saturday is we get to choose. We sit outside this tomb and we get to choose if we believe that he will rise. And with this never-ending hope, this infinite hope in God's love, we know that he will.